On this episode of Hill City Happenings, we hear from a local veteran and learn more about his story. Also, we hear from the Downtown Lynchburg Association about the new Bright Nights on the Bluff Walk. Coming up next. I'm your host, Shaquille Cook, and this is Hill City Happenings. We give much honor to the brave men and women who have served this country. And today, we get the opportunity to hear from a local veteran, Mr. Steve Bozeman, about his patriotic path. Let's take a look.
Well, the history of the Marine Corps was always in my mind. And I got the draft notice from the Uncle Sam. And I had a girlfriend, I had a low-paying job, and an old junk car, but I was kind of happy at the moment. But I knew that Vietnam was building up in late '65. So the recruiter came to my door a week after I went through induction center, and the Army was going to draft me eventually. I knew that, but I didn't want to be drafted, so I joined the Marine Corps. And he came up to my door and knocked on it, and I had a car out front working on the hood raised up. And he said, "You're a mechanic?" I said, "Yeah, kind of." He said, "Well, we need helicopter mechanics, and so would you like to join for 4 years and become a helicopter mechanic?" I did, not knowing if you go to Vietnam and you become a helicopter mechanic, you also become a door gunner. So that was sort of a side job I didn't know about then. But I watched on the evening news as a teenager, all the stuff in Vietnam that was happening, and I knew that my country was calling eventually, and I even though John F. Kennedy wasn't well liked down south, but yet I resonated with him because he was a World War II veteran, like my dad in the Navy. And when he had that famous quote about what you can do for your country, and I raised my hand. I tried to convince myself I didn't have PTSD. In 1986, I knew I had issues, but I didn't know what it was called. Back then they called it Vietnam Syndrome, meaning you're kind of not fitting in, you're angry, you're mad. I started going to counseling in 1986. The vet center up in Roanoke would come down once a week to a local church, and about 20, 30 Vietnam vets would meet and as a group. So I kind of stayed there about a year, and then I started going back to therapy and counseling in 2004 and 5. And was able to deal with a lot of issues that I suppressed. Like one counselor said, a lot of you Vietnam vets have this big garbage bag behind you, and you're just dragging that thing around with you all the time. And you got this traumas back here that you need to deal with. The counselor said, we need to talk about, find something that you need to talk about, and let's do it. So we're gonna rip that scab off, put it in that bag. Pretty soon you're gonna have a full bag of scabs back there, but you're gonna be feeling better, that your body's gonna heal. And it worked. And one of the mottos of the Vietnam vets is never will one generation abandon another generation of veterans. Like we got abandoned by our brothers or our fathers in World War II. They didn't see us as true veterans. They just said, you lost the war. Well, Korean still was a stalemate, but that's changed, and time does heal. So anyway, that's why I got involved with the Monument Terrace Troop Rally. Was I want to make sure that the public knows that these women and men going to war need to have your support. And I think for the most part, it was there. The groundswell was there. Lynchburg is a big patriotic town. I had many mothers and fathers come down early night 2001, 2, and 3, knowing their son or daughter is over in Iraq or Afghanistan. And they just want to be around vets. A lot of World War II vets. Now they felt like, I mean, I had so many World War II vets come up and join us too because they want to be with us. They want to, in their twilight years, they want to go back to their younger years as warriors, and they want to stand with other warriors like we're doing up there. So we try to help connect the younger veterans. You need to talk about it. You need to sit down in a group, and I think the best group in Lynchburg is Miami Terrace every Friday, and we encourage that. And over the years, we've expanded and get more of the Iraq-Afghan vets now, male, females too. And then National Center for Healthy Veterans came on the scene 3.5 years ago down in Alta Vista area. And it's a great organization. They're trying to bring the vets, not just a group thing for a few weeks, they do it for months on time. So anyway, we honor those who go to war. We honor those who are still here, and we respect as veterans, what that means.
If you're like me, you love the holiday season and you enjoy seeing the lights that brighten up our city. And from now until January, you can enjoy the beautiful scenery of the Bright Nights on the Bluff Walk here downtown. Let's talk to Ms. Ashley Kirshner from the Downtown Lynchburg Association to find out more information about it.
Bright Nights on the Bluff Walk is a holiday installation that is in downtown Lynchburg on the Bluff Walk, which is between Commerce Street and Jefferson Street. It's a pedestrian walkway, and this installation is a partnership between the City of Lynchburg and Downtown Lynchburg Association, and it is a display that will last all the way through mid-January. So this is actually an idea that I've had for a really long time and just haven't been able to figure out a way to make it happen yet. But this is, we always knew that we wanted to do some sort of new holiday tradition in downtown. Ever since the parade went to Midtown, we wanted to create something new for the downtown area that brought people down here for many weeks during the holiday season. And we looked at a bunch of different ideas, but ultimately the Bluff Walk was something that, because it's already a pedestrian walkway, because it's an area that had lots of fencing and buildings and things that we could build upon and structures that we could actually put lights on, we just thought it was the perfect place to kind of bring this vision to life. So we started with thinking about funding. These lights are very expensive, and once we looked for companies to work with to fabricate the lights and to get some of our larger scale decorations from, so we could start to put together a budget for this, we had to then go out and seek funding. So we did that by first partnering with the city. The city was a major partner in this, which we very much appreciated. And then we applied for a grant with the state, which had to be matched by local funders as well. So this is, there are really three big pieces of this: the city funding, the state funding, and then all of the major sponsors that came in and helped fill that gap to make it happen. The sponsors on this event or on this installation, the event and the installation, we went to and we told them about everything that we were doing this year, and they really grabbed onto this because I think that they knew that this would bring a lot of people joy all throughout the year, and these sponsors just felt really strongly about that and wanted to be a part of it. But also our partnership with the city, so many city employees came out and helped make this happen. They cleaned up the Bluff Walk, they assembled these decorations, they installed them. So this partnership with the city was actually incredibly important, and I don't think we could have done it without them. We also partnered with CLC Landscaping, who has a whole arm of their business where they do Christmas and holiday installations. So all of the smaller scale stuff that you see here, all of the string lights, all of the light poles, all of that was done by them, and they work with us throughout the season to keep those maintained. And they have we have been working with them on lights for many years, so we trust them and we know that they're great to work with. We also worked with Castle Lighting Productions, which does all of our uplighting and our projections, and so they added a really cool element. And this piece that you see here was actually designed by a University of Lynchburg professor, Chelsea Tinklenberg. So working with a local fabricator was also a really good component. The community response has been actually really overwhelming in terms of how positive and how many people have reached out to us just to say how happy it has made them. I've personally been out here every single night since it was installed to just make sure the lights are all still working and that there aren't any issues. And what that's allowed me to do is actually just be out here when people are walking. And it's just so clear that it is just bringing joy to a lot of people, creating really special holiday memories. And so far we are aware of 3 proposals that have happened since it opened, and those are just the ones that we know about. So it's clear that this has become a really special place for people.
Well, that wraps up this episode. Till next time, I'm your host, Shaquille Cook, and this is Hill City Happenings.